Watch the oil now. She's a squirter. Today we're doing a drift alignment. What? Today we're doing a drift alignment on a S14 that is kind of taller, a little bit taller. What do they call this style, Chris? Donkey style? No, they call it, it's like a Mahon car.
N style.
N style?
Like Naoki.
Like Naoki stuff. I mean, they got, look, Naoki knuckles, B knuckle right here. This is like the starter pack right here. You got the B knuckle, you raised your car up 80 feet, you're ready to party. That's pretty much it. All right, so usually we just pull the car in and we throw it on the rack and then we try to do the alignment, and if it doesn't work, then we call the customer and let them know. That's actually what happened the other day. So we already did that. We called the customer. We're like, hey, your traction rods are not evenly adjusted. Your tension rods are not evenly adjusted or properly installed. And your rack is not centered. So what do you want to do? He said, you got to fix all that. I said, okay, so now it's on the lift. So I already did all that. I set the traction rods even length. We're just loosening up everything now. So the caster arms or tension rods have been removed and reinstalled. The steering rack has been centered. He does have a bent tie rod up front, which I will show you, just so you guys know. If you look here, you can see, you'll see this move up and down. And that means that the inner tie rod is bent. We don't have one in stock. We usually have these in stock, the GK Tech ones, but this time we don't, so we are gonna leave this. It's not that bent, so it'll be okay. We thought we might have to shorten these tie rods because, just because of the setup. We don't actually know what tie rods these are, but it all worked out. Once we centered the steering rack, everything worked out, so. All right, so everything's loose, so we're gonna take it off the lift. What I mean by everything is loose is we went back here and we loosened all the lock nuts on the arms so that we don't have to do this when it's on the rack. Because when it's on the rack, the wheels are gonna be sitting a little higher and everything's gonna be a little bit harder to get to, so. Also, PSA, not good. You don't wanna have wires hanging on the bottom of your car. Like this car's here for an alignment, so I'm not gonna do anything other than tell him, but not good. Those are the neons. That's what that is. And they also go up in the wheel well, they're by the brake lines. It's very, very bad. This is loose, ready to get snagged on something, probably the wheel. Yeah. Yup. Motherfucker. Josh DeLee's spec. That's what this is. To me, that's what this is. The car doesn't like to start. He said cycle the key 3 times. Still think it doesn't start. Nope. Oh! Come on! Come on. Come on. All right, now we're on the alignment rack. There's the train, every f***ing time. She's a wide one. She's got those 2-inch spacers in the front. I thought this shit was crooked, but it's just the side skirt. I don't know why it's like that. I think you need a mic. Yeah, why don't you mic yourself up? Why are you giving the mic to us and then you never mic yourself up? Yeah, the man behind the camera. You're an actor today. Where'd you put the mic?
Right here.
Huh. step one.
Drink your chocolate milk.
It's not chocolate milk.
Oh, just hot chocolate.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
hot chocolate milk.
Yeah. No, there's no milk.
Oh.
Hot chocolate is water, right?
So that's chocolate juice.
Yeah, chocolate drink.
Chocolate drink.
I prefer a hot chocolate drink.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, well, you know, I don't buy it. Chris buys it when he's late, so. Let's go! Worst part about filming, we gotta turn the music off.
So we don't get demonetized.
Yeah, so YouTube doesn't demonetize us.
So they don't steal our 50 cents.
Yeah, yeah. God forbid. Ooh, tire pressure on point. He checked it? When were you gonna tell me? On the fourth tire or? Okay, so the tire pressure's already been checked by our fellow employee, Young Dave. You might know him. You might have seen him before. Next step, sensors. Rolls right off the lid. Oh, Malcolm, give me my steering wheel level.
Oh my, where is it?
My new tool. Oh, it's in here.
Let's see. Nice. Here you go, kiddo.
See if this shit works. Probably not. We usually do all this by eye, but trying to get something to make this go faster, because usually what happens is we'll do the alignment and the steering wheel will be off, and then we're doing another alignment again. I mean, apparently that's level. So now you can get out and put this in. You got a lot of booty shots today.
Oh yeah.
Lucky you. Sheesh. All right. Huh? Show bar grasp. Whoa. Looks like I'm gonna be working today. These are Young Dave's notes. He wants 4.5 degrees of camber in the front, which is good for a street car that drifts. Caster, stock caster, which is good, honestly. I think it's 7 degrees, something like that. You know what's also a good idea? We have Josh DeLuse's alignment specs in here, so I'm probably gonna copy most of this. I'm not gonna do 7 degrees of camber in the front, maybe 5. I'm gonna make it probably 0 camber in the rear, not negative 0.5, if I can. And I'll explain it as I'm doing it, because that'll be easier. I don't know why I do this, but you're supposed to start in the rear when you do an alignment. But the problem is, like, this caster is so far off and the front toe is so far off that I'm probably gonna try to adjust that first. And not to mention, caster adjustment is the most annoying part of this whole procedure. Now, I'm not gonna like finalize anything in the front, but I'm gonna get everything generally where it should be. And then I'm gonna jump to the rear and get that almost perfect, and then go back to the front and make it perfect. And the reason I do that is just because when you do things to the front of the car, it will affect the rear slightly. Well, the readings it will affect. So you want to get everything generally in the right area before you start locking stuff down. So I'm gonna get to work on this, and then we will update you as I go. YouTube is crazy. They'll pick up the smallest shit.
Yeah, like your penis.
Are we done? Are we done? Welcome back. That hot chocolate makes me feel like I got a shit everywhere. This is not gonna be the last time I touch the camber, but we're gonna start there. I'm starting at the front camber because it's far off from what I want it to be. You can come over here and see it. It's at 2.2 on the left and 3.0 on the right, and we're looking for 4.5 to 5. So that's a pretty big increase. So the reason I'm doing it now and I'm not doing the rear is because I still need to get the caster right. I just roughly adjusted the toe and the caster to get it somewhere in the general area, but we have to do a caster sweep where you hit a command on the alignment machine, and then you have to turn the steering wheel so that the alignment machine can read the new caster that you just did. That's not really a live setup. That's more of an idea. Then you do the caster sweep, and then you know what the reading is. But when doing an alignment, everything affects the other thing. So caster will affect camber, and camber will affect caster. So before I do the caster sweep, I need to adjust the camber so it's generally in the right area. I already see the YouTube comments. You're supposed to do the rear first. Yeah, I know I'm supposed to do the rear first. That's not how I do it, okay? Get over it. So you guys, I mean, there's no reason for Malcolm to come up here. You guys know what a camber plate looks like. At least I hope you do. So we're just gonna start with the camber plate. Now, just because I know I'm already seeing the comments as I'm doing this. You can also adjust camber with the, I think it's an eccentric bolt on a 240, on the knuckle. That's the stock camber adjustment point. But there's really no reason to do that, because when you're adjusting on the knuckle, the adjustment point you're adjusting on the knuckle to do camber on the front is basically acting exactly as moving the strut. So, yes, you could make them even. If we were setting up a car for a competition or something like that, or if we had more time on the car, I would probably set the factory eccentric bolts for the camber evenly, and I would probably max them in negative. That way, the top camber plates are more evenly adjusted. But on a setup like this, where we're getting paid to do this alignment, get it in, get it out, I'm not gonna take that crazy extra step for no reason. And of course, if you mention it to us, we will do it. But there's no reason to do that. The only time I might have to do that is if I don't have enough adjustment with the camber plate, which is very rare with the S chassis. As you can see, these bolts are too far towards the inside. So on most camber plates, you can actually remove these bolts and move them to the back so that you can slide this in more and get more negative camber. Yup.
Whoa.
So that's maxed. And yeah, it's fine. That's honestly not even, I wanted more than that, so it's fine. So this is a situation where we probably are gonna have to play with those factory camber bolts, because we might be able to get more out of them. So I'm probably just gonna max these out, snug them up, and then try to adjust the lower camber bolts, factory bolts, I hope. Doing faction alignments is not fun.
This is what you live for.
No, because
love this.
you spend hours doing the same alignment.
Alignments are my favorite thing to do.
Why did it sound like an anime guy?
I love making people drive straight.
So where did we leave off? Camber?
Camber.
Oh, yeah. So,
How did that go?
well, I ended up coming down here anyway and adjusting the stock camber bolts and bringing the wheels all the way in. We tightened those down, and then I went back up to the top, the camber plates, and adjusted it more. We're now at 4.7 and 4.6. That's kind of where we wanted to be. So I'm gonna leave this for now. The next thing I did was adjust the caster. It'll probably get messed up later anyway.
Okay.
When we do the toe, and then we'll have to go back and do it. But to adjust caster, first you gotta dodge the leaking oil pan. And then you just adjust the tension rods, and that's it. And then you gotta do a caster sweep. So we gotta adjust this, go up top, left, right, center, see what the caster reads. It's a painful procedure. I'm on my fifth lap probably, and it's still not perfect. And we get things perfect here. We don't let a car leave if it's not perfect. So But like I said, I just wanted to get the front somewhat straight. So I've been adjusting toe this entire time because once you adjust camber or caster, the toe is slightly off. So I've been going back and adjusting the toe. This is where I'm going to leave it for now. And we are going to check out the rear before we come back to this and lock it down because you do want to start with the rear. This should be relatively fast because I loosened everything already. Now, toe and camber, they mess with each other when you adjust it. So like if I go to adjust this toe right now, it's going to adjust the camber as well. I'm bringing this thing back to factory right now, and now the camber is decreasing. So now it's, you know, I'm adjusting this toe, but like it's in the green, so I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna go up top and I'm gonna adjust the camber on. So now we're at 1.8, and now we're in factory green specs. This rod is about halfway down the threads, maybe a little bit more than halfway. Let's see, now if you look at the toe, the toe is now negative. So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna adjust that at the same time to keep everything in the green for now. We're doing zero camber in the rear because under compression, it's gonna naturally camber in. Ideally, if you have a car that's pretty soft in the rear, you kinda want a slight positive camber in the back. That way, when it squats and it naturally cambers in, it's going to be flat. So you have the best contact patch. But there's a problem with that. It looks ugly. But we usually just put them to 0. Another thing to check right now is what does the outside of the car look like? Because you could be rubbing on the fender already. But I have a feeling this car is not. No, we got plenty of room, so. Rear camber is done. Well, rear everything's done. Come take a look. Stock, -0.5. That's where we're leaving it. Now you go to the front and look what happened. Now we gotta adjust the toe again. So that's why I don't lock things down in the front. I mean, you're not supposed to start with the front. So I just get everything generally in the right area and then do the rear. And now you gotta come back and set the front. I mean, the only weird thing about this car with the toe is the tie rods are at their max length. Like I said, I don't know what inner tie rods these are, but this one is very close to being maxed out, meaning I would have to cut it. And I'm hoping I don't have to do that. I don't. But if he was to, I mean, there's pretty much nothing he's gonna do to affect that, but like the inner tie rod is almost maxed with the outer tie rod when it's at the alignment spec it's supposed to be at. So if he shortened the lower control arm length or something like that, then he would have a problem. But this is a stock S14 lower, so he's not gonna have that problem. All right, so toe is generally in the right area. Well, it's at factory settings, but I'm gonna double check the rear again. It didn't move. Now I'm going to fix the camber. So I'm going to go over here and make that 4.7. Now we're like preparing to tighten everything down. So now I'm just slightly adjusting the camber. I just want to add a little bit. That might be it. Nope. There. 4.7, 4.7. So now we're going to tighten that down. All right, now I'm going to put his toe at 0 in the front or slightly toed in. Factory settings are usually 0 toe or slightly toed in, and slight toe in usually helps the car drive straighter. And this car is a street car and a drift car, is what he said to me. So I don't want to do any crazy toe out on this car, but I also don't want it to be toed in that much. So I'm going to go towards 0. Now, measure caster. gotta adjust the caster again. This is... All right, time to print. Print. Let's see how it looks. Perfect. So before, obviously, kind of crazy, all over the place. Too much caster. We took the arms out and adjusted them. The rear is all over the place. Now, 4.6 degrees front camber. Caster is 7.0, which is, I believe, it's about factory caster. Toe is 0 because it is a drift car, so it's not factory toe. Rear camber is negative 0.5 just because I didn't think I had enough threads on the rear upper control arms to go to 0. Rear toe is stock because stock rear toe is actually pretty good. It's slightly toed in. If you compare this to Front Street Josh's alignment, it's pretty identical. The only thing that's different is he runs slight toe out, which is not really, it's barely toed out. And he runs 7 degrees of front camber. That's different. That for sure is different. That will give the leading wheel more contact patch during drift. But it's a street car, so I'm not going crazy with the camber. I usually never go above 5 anyway. Yeah, so that's that. We're gonna take it out for a test drive, see if the steering wheel's straight, and then that's it. It's a wrap. This is the height we're working with here. So it's not a super low car. It's got some wheel gap in the front. He runs a crazy big spacer in the front, maybe like 2 inches. So this is, like I said, a Mahan style car, something like that, like a Naoki style car. Yeah, this is what a lot of people are running these days. So it functions a lot better than a low car, I will tell you that. And you can do crazy backwards entries with something like this. So check this guy out. He might be at Club Loose. All right, what do we have going on? We have nothing going on. It's November. There's really no drift events left. There's like 2 Club Loose events left. Club Loose stuffed moves, check them out. And Sleigh Ride, right? Sleigh Ride? Yeah. And Chris is back with lunch, so on that note, see you next time. Like, share, subscribe. Bye. Let us know what you do with your alignments. What differences do you do for your drift alignments? All right, bye.